Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we skip the surface level and really get into the essential knowledge from the sources you're curious about. Today, we're tackling something fundamental, tenses. The very architecture of how we talk about time and language. And this isn't about drilling verb tables, no. It's about getting that intuitive feel for how we precisely place actions in the past, present, or future. Super important for, well, everything. Clear communication, right? Our mission, then, is to kind of demystify all 12 tenses. We'll look at the big three, present, past, and future, and then break down those four subtypes for each. Simple, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. Sounds like a lot, maybe. But stick with us. By the end, you'll see the logic. It's actually quite elegant, and I love this quote from the material we looked at. Past is history, future is mystery, present is a gift. That is why we call it present.
That's a great one.
It really grounds us, doesn't it? Not just in life, but in how language helps us navigate all these moments.
Yeah.
So let's start right here. In the present tenses, these are the ones we use for like universal facts, routines, things happening right now. How do we build that foundation? Where's the starting point?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the foundation really is the simple present tense. Its strength isn't just, the basic structure verbs, first form, add s or es for singular subjects, that sort of thing. It's more about its declarative power. It's the tense for things that just are. Facts, timeless truths.
Okay.
Think about scientific statements like water freezes. It's not just happening now, it always happens. It carries that weight of indisputable fact. Or routines, my father works in a bank.
Right. Permanence and routine. But what happens if we get it wrong? Is there a risk?
Oh, definitely. Using it incorrectly can make something temporary sound permanent or strip urgency away. Like a news headline, market plunges. Simple present makes it sound immediate, factual, almost like an ongoing state. More impactful than, say, market has plunged, which feels done.
I see.
And for negatives or questions, it's straightforward. You bring in do or does with the base verb, the sun does not rise in the west, or do you work hard? It's direct. It establishes what is or isn't.
Got it. Simple present, routines, facts, done. But what about things unfolding like right this second as we're speaking? How do you capture that live feeling?
Yeah, that's exactly where the present continuous tense comes in, or present progressive, some call it. We all know the mechanics, right? Is am, are, plus the verb with ing. I am teaching, you are learning. But the real insight, it creates immediacy. It pulls you right into the action. Makes you feel like you're watching it happen live.
So it's not just what is, but what is happening dynamically.
Exactly. Dynamic is the word. That's why it's perfect for live commentary. He's talking to me right now. Or for urgent updates. It stresses that an action is temporary. It's in motion. It can also signal future plans, like I am meeting him later. But its core is definitely capturing the now.
Okay, interesting. So that covers the immediate now. But often we talk about things that just finished, but they still matter now. There's a connection. How does language bridge that gap?
That's the perfect job for the present perfect tense. It's literally the bridge between a completed past action and its current significance. The structure, has or have, plus the verb's third form, like I have read this book.
Right.
The key isn't when you finished reading. It's that the knowledge, the experience, the effect of reading it is still relevant now.
Can you give another example where that relevance is super clear?
Sure. Compare I have read this book with I read this book yesterday. The second one, simple past, just states a fact about yesterday. It's done, filed away. But I have read this book implies maybe you can discuss it now, or the ideas are still fresh, or think about she has completed the work.
Okay.
It signals the task is done, yes.
Right.
But the current state is that the work is complete, which is relevant for what happens next. The completion has a present impact.
That makes sense. It's subtle but powerful, choosing the impact you want. All right, now for the one that trips people up sometimes. Present, perfect continuous. This one's for actions starting in the past, going on for a while, and crucially still going on now. Like I've been doing this for ages and I'm still at it. How does this tense nail that?
It really does nail that combination of duration and ongoing action. The structure is has or have plus been, plus the verb's first form with ing. Its real power is emphasizing that sustained effort that leads right up to the present and continues. If you say, I've been teaching for 9 years, it doesn't just mean you started 9 years ago. It highlights that the process has been continuous, and it's still happening right now.
And the for versus since thing, that seems to be a common hurdle. Can you clarify that?
Absolutely. Critical distinction. And yeah, people mix them up. Okay, think of it like this. For tells you how long. It measures a duration. For 10 months, for 6 years, For 5 minutes, a span of time.
Okay, duration.
Since tells you when it started. It pinpoints the start time. Since Monday, since 1992, since childhood, since 5 o'clock. A specific point in the
Ah,
past.
point versus period.
Exactly. So, I have been teaching since 2011, gives the starting point. He has been preparing for that exam for 2 years, gives the duration. Getting for and since right makes the time frame crystal clear for that ongoing action. It blends the perfect idea of completed time with the continuous idea of still happening. Very precise.
Wow, okay. That really breaks down the present tenses. Thanks. And, you know, if you've grasped that logic, duration, completion, ongoing action, the past tenses should feel, well, maybe a little easier. They kind of build on that, just looking backward.
Indeed, yeah. When we move to the past, the core ideas are similar, but the time markers shift. Let's start with simple past tense.
Hmm.
This is your basic tense for actions that just happened, finished, done, at some point in the past, or maybe used to happen regularly back then. Rule-wise, it's mostly about using the verb's second form, I did the work.
So just stating what happened, no real fuss about its link to now.
Exactly. The completed event detached from the present. I did the work means it's finished, maybe yesterday, maybe last week. The specific past time might be implied or stated, but it's over. And for questions and negatives instead of dodos, you use did with the verb's first form. Did you do the work? I did not do the work. Simple, factual, past.
Clear,
Yeah.
straightforward. Okay. What if an action was in progress in the past, not just happened, but was happening?
Ah, now you're talking about the past continuous tense. This is for actions that were continuously happening at a particular time or over a period in the past. The structure is was or where, plus the verb's first form and ing. Think of it as setting the scene in the past.
Like I was doing the work when you called, that kind of thing.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The was doing shows the work was in progress, providing context for when the call happened. It paints a picture of activity unfolding back then. Was for singular subjects and I were for plural and you.
Got it. Setting the scene. Now this brings us to sequencing. The past perfect tense. You hear it called the past of past. How does that help untangle events that happened back then?
Yeah, past of past is a good way to think about it. It's a really valuable tool for clarity, especially when you're telling a story or reporting events with multiple past actions. The rule is simple. Had plus the verb's third form, I had done the work. The insight is that it clearly shows one past action finished before another past action started. If you say, I had done the work before you came, it's unambiguous. My work finished first, then you arrived second. Without the past perfect, I do the work before you came, it's less precise about the completion relative to the arrival.
Right. It nails down the sequence. What about an example like I had lived there for 10 years when I met you? How does that work?
Good one. In that case, I had lived there for 10 years. Stresses that the entire 10-year period of living there was completely finished before the separate past action of meeting you occurred.
Oh, so it wasn't ongoing.
Correct. It's marking a completed block of past time that concluded before the next past event. If it had been ongoing up to that point, you'd need a different tense, which leads us nicely.
To the past perfect continuous tense, I bet. This sounds like the most complex one for the past, combining duration, ongoing action, all leading up to some other past point.
It is the most nuanced, yeah. It describes an action that had been continuously happening for a specific duration right up until another point in the past. Structure. Had plus been plus the verb's first form plus ing, often with for or since. It's maybe less frequent in casual chat, but vital for accuracy in certain contexts. Let's use a project example to show the difference clearly. Compare these two. 1. I had worked on this project for 10 years when I got the promotion. Past perfect.
Okay, so the work was finished before the promotion.
Exactly. 10 years completed, then promotion. Now 2. I had been working on this project for 10 years when I got the promotion. Right. Past perfect continuous.
Ah, so the working was still going on right up to the moment of the promotion.
Precisely. The had been working emphasizes the continuous ongoing effort over those 10 years that led directly into the moment of getting promoted. It highlights that sustained activity reaching a past endpoint. Huge difference in meaning.
That is a critical difference. It changes the whole narrative feel. Okay,
Yep.
so that covers the past. Now looking ahead, future tenses. How do we talk about simple predictions or things we decide to do on the spot or just basic commitments about what's next?
For those kinds of straightforward future statements, predictions, promises, spontaneous decisions, we generally use the simple future tense. Structure-wise, it's typically will plus the verb's first form. I will call you. It will rain. The insight is its directness. It's our most common, immediate way to project into the future, making a forecast or stating an intention.
Straightforward. I will call you tomorrow. It will rain later. Pretty clear. Sounds definite.
Exactly. It conveys that future action or state as a perceived fact, promise, or decision made now, looking forward.
Okay. But what if we know we'll be in the middle of doing something at a certain time in the future? Not just that it will happen, but that we'll be actively engaged in it then.
Right, for that sense of being mid-action in the future, we use the future continuous tense. The structure is will be plus the verb's first form and ing. It paints a picture of an action unfolding at a specific future moment. Great for visualizing or planning.
So at 9 a.m. tomorrow, I will be working. Or maybe don't call them, they will be watching the movie.
Perfect. It clearly signals an ongoing activity at that future point. It places you or someone else inside that future event as it's happening. Sometimes it can also imply a routine future action, like you'll be attending the meeting as usual.
That really does add a sense of anticipation or activity. Now, the future perfect tense. How do we signal that something will be finished or completed before a specific time or another event in the future? Sounds key for deadlines.
Absolutely key for deadlines and planning. The structure is will have plus the verb's third form. The insight here is its function as a future benchmark. It establishes that an action will be completed by a certain future point. You're looking ahead to a future moment and saying by then, this will be done.
Like, by December, I will have finished this course. Or, they will have arrived by 8 p.m., setting a future completion point.
That's the essence of it, looking back from a future point to confirm a prior completion relative to that future point. Yeah. Indispensable for project planning, goal setting, anything with future milestones.
Makes sense. Okay, last one. The future perfect continuous tense. This feels like the future equivalent of past perfect continuous action ongoing for a period leading up to a specific future point.
You got it. It combines that duration and continuity, projecting it forward to a future marker. The structure will have been plus the verb's first form and ing, inking. The insight is its ability to acknowledge and measure a sustained effort or action that continues right up to a specific future milestone. Great for highlighting long-term commitment or activity duration at a future date.
So if I say next month I will have been working here for 5 years, I'm really emphasizing the continuous journey up to that 5-year mark.
Exactly. It's not just that 5 years will pass, but that the working will have been ongoing continuously throughout that period, right up to that future anniversary. Or by the time the exam starts, she will have been studying for hours. It stresses the continuous effort leading right up to that future event. It adds real depth to future projections involving duration.
So what does this all mean? Phew. We've covered a lot of ground, all 12 tenses. From the simple present facts, through the sequences of the past, right up to projecting completions and ongoing actions in the future. Understanding these, really getting the feel for them, it does feel like gaining a kind of superpower, doesn't it? The power to articulate things across time with real clarity.
It absolutely does. That knowledge gives you such precision. You can express exactly when things happened, are happening, or will happen. It adds layers of meaning, context, nuance to any story, any report, any conversation. And it brings us back to that quote, doesn't it? Present is a gift. Understanding how language itself maps out time helps us use our present communications so much more effectively. So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. Now that you have a deeper feel for how language flows through time, how will you use that understanding to tell your own story, share your insights with greater clarity, and maybe even greater impact?